when I moved to India in 2014, one of the things that struck me was how there were all these TV advertisements about the smartphone and how it was going to transform India. And one of the ads was a campaign by Idea Cellular, and it was called the No Ullu Banawing campaign, which is, essentially translated as "Don't make a fool of us." And and they had many variants of the same ad, but one of the ads was set in a village where a politician was making a speech, and he made these tall claims saying, I'm going to give you roads and bridges and 24/7 electricity and water, and clearly he'd made those promises before, but no one remembered that in that audience. And this guy sitting on the fence, just a villager, pulls out his phone, Googles the guy, pulls up that speech from 5 years ago, and says, "Hey, Mr. Minister, you said all the same things 5 years ago. You think we're fools or what?" And then people start throwing stuff at the minister, and the ad campaign, the ad jingle takes off. And it got me thinking, really, because the notion of the smartphone as an equalizer, as something that breaks boundaries of caste and gender and rich and poor, urban, rural, all of the divides that we've gotten so used to in India. And so then seeing this as some sort of a breaker of those restrictions was an interesting starting point. And of course, we now know that the phone is so much more than that, both for good, but also for bad. So I saw that as a starting point, and I really wanted to make India Connected an India book, not a tech book. And so the phone and the smartphone was really a prism through which to see India. But one of the ways in which it really surprised me, I have a chapter on dating and marriage, and I always thought that young Indians, the more they used smartphones, the more westernized they would get. And so I saw dating as a route and an entry point into that westernization. And I was wrong, because as much as tech is changing India, India is also changing tech. So one of the first things that young Indians were doing after getting on Tinder and the Indian version of Tinder, Truly Madly, was to check each other's astrology charts, and the star signs. And instead of necessarily sort of broadening their search, Gujaratis wanted to date Gujaratis, and Marwadis wanted to date Marwadis, and Punjabis were looking for Punjabis. And that was interesting to me, because I thought that those things would change. But no, maybe tech will make India more Indian.